Whenever you're working 6 or more feet high, OSHA requires fall protection. Right now, let's take a quick look at the different types of fall protection. First, there are guardrails, which consist of a top rail, mid-rail, toe boards, and anchoring posts. The guardrail must be strong enough to withstand forces of up to 200 pounds applied within 2 inches of the top edge in any outward or downward position. There are a variety of guardrails such as wood, pipe, steel, cable, and others. Another type of fall protection is safety nets. The third fall protection is a cover. Any opening 2 inches or more in floors or other walking surfaces must be covered. This can be a simple piece of sturdy plywood that will support twice the weight of any worker, equipment, or materials. When placing covers over open holes or gaps, write the word hole or cover in large, easy-to-see letters and make sure the cover is securely in place. Let's take a look at a personal fall arrest system. Generally, it has 5 components: a full body harness, a lanyard, snap hooks, an anchorage point, and the 5th component is knowledge of how the system works and how to take care of the equipment. The full body harness reduces the impact caused by the fall as it spreads pressure evenly over your thighs, chest, shoulders, and pelvis. The person demonstrating the drop test has been properly harnessed and has the lanyard attached to an anchoring device. The person drops from a height, and the harness and lanyard stretch and bring the demonstrator to an effective stop without injury. Now let's review the lanyard. There are different kinds of lanyards, such as nylon, polyester, cable, and rope. Shock-absorbing lanyards and rope grabs are designed to absorb most of the force of a fall. If the lanyard you're using has been subjected to a fall, tag out the lanyard because it can't be used again. If it's been used, the stitching will be torn out. Make sure the lanyard is in good condition, without any defects, tears, or cuts, and the stitching is in place on the tag. Inspect the metal components for signs of corrosion, cracks, sharp edges, or signs of excessive wear. Make sure you know how long your lanyard is when determining how far you will fall before you stop, including the stretch factor of the lanyard and harness. Snap hooks connect the lanyard to your body harness. You should always use the proper snap hooks and D-rings of the same size and made by the same manufacturer, and always double-check the connection to make sure it's properly locked and in good condition. An anchorage point is the place where your lanyard is attached to a solid, unmovable object. Keep in mind that you may weigh only 200 pounds, but once you begin to fall, that 200 pounds can turn into a couple thousand pounds of force. Another factor in fall protection safety is the swing factor. This is a pendulum effect at the end of a fall, which could cause you to hit something if you swing too far. Never anchor the lanyard to a guardrail or similar object. As we discussed earlier, the 5th component of a fall protection system is knowledge. Be sure to know how your equipment works, how to properly inspect all components, and if you find something wrong with your equipment, don't use it. Tag it defective and replace it before you continue. Another important factor in the knowledge component is to never take shortcuts and never fail to use your equipment when you're working at a level 6 feet or higher that requires fall protection. When control lines are used, they must be erected not less than 6 feet but no more than 25 feet from the unprotected or leading edge. There are exceptions to this rule when erecting precast concrete members. If you're using this system, make sure you follow the rules and warnings. Next, a safety monitoring system and competent person is another way to prevent falls. A competent person is one who is capable of identifying existing and predictable workplace hazards in the surrounding or working conditions which are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and who has the authority to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. You must have a competent person designated as a safety monitor, and that person's job is to actively patrol the work area and warn others of any possible danger. This is a full-time job, and the monitor must be able to recognize fall hazards and cannot perform other work duties. The safety monitor is a full-time job while employees are exposed. The employer is required to provide a training program for each employee who might be exposed to fall hazards. Employees must be trained in the correct procedures for the handling and storage of equipment and materials, and the erection of overhead protection, and the role of employees in fall protection plans, and the OSHA standards pertaining to fall protection. Retraining is required when the employer has reason to believe that any affected employee who has already been trained does not have the understanding and skill required. The employer must retrain that employee. In other words, employees must be kept aware of proper fall protection, OSHA standards, fall protection equipment, and everything necessary to prevent falls. If you have any questions, be sure to ask your trainer or supervisor, because your safety is much too important to leave any questions unanswered.